Welcome back to Good Germs Off-Road Adventures, and welcome to what is a hot day in the desert. It's expected to be about 110-ish degrees today, and so it's perfect time to get outside and do some maintenance. No, way too hot, but we're doing it anyway. Today, we're getting into some maintenance on the F350 here. Stick around. So today's mini project is just going to be an oil filter change along with an air filter change / upgrade. We've had the truck for about 3 or 4 months now, and it's probably okay on the oil that's in there, but I don't know what's in there. I have no idea what the dealer put in there. I do know that the filter they put in, they went for the cheapest possible from the AutoZone place. They went for the blue filter, which I'll admit, I'm happy it's not the orange filter, but they did go for the blue filter. So we're going to go ahead, take the filter off. No, not going to do that first. First, we're going to dump the oil. Then we'll take the filter off and put a brand new shiny filter on it. How do you open this? Oh, there we go. Well, there we go. There's the 6.7 goodness. And I like that the hood is light. People talk down on those aluminum body Fords, but you have a light tailgate, you've got a light hood. Now, I'm sure they won't do well in crashes and things. They'll crumple up and disintegrate, but just don't crash. It's just fine. There are some benefits to doing this on a super hot day, and that is, well, the oil's already going to be pretty warm and thin to come out. You don't have to heat the vehicle up, so that's kind of nice. Also a benefit to having a truck this tall is you can scoot up under it without having to drive it up on ramps, and that dog is barking for no reason. Anyway, neighbor's dog, he barks a lot. Anyway, you don't have to do any of that, jacking it up or driving it up on ramps. It's a little snug under here for somebody my size, but that's okay. However, the downfall is I can't put it in the garage. It won't fit through the door. So we have to do it outside. Thankfully, it's not windy, so we're not going to have oil going everywhere, in my mind. And of course, this is a 16 millimeter bolt that is on really snugly, but not too bad. Now Ford, I've accepted the fact that Ford likes to use metric bolts on everything now. However, Ford also has a habit of using metric bolts that are the weird sizes, 7 millimeters, 16 millimeters, all the sizes you wouldn't think. Don't really know why. Oh, we almost missed with the drain pan. And now we wait as we drain 37 gallons of motor oil out of the crankcase. Still waiting. Talk amongst yourselves. I'd give you a topic, but you can come up with your own topic. I would get out and go do something else, but it's too much work getting under here. It's fine. When you're putting your drain plug back in, make sure you cross thread it. No, don't ever cross thread these. Unless you're working on an X's car, feel free to cross thread it and put some red Loctite on it. Again, don't do that either. That's not nice. Okay, now let's go ahead and tighten this down. Perfect. Now for the oil filter. Let's go ahead and push this. Oh God, it's heavy now. Push it over here. I picked up this nifty oil filter wrench. It's an adjustable flavor. Look at that. Got it over at the Harbor Freight. It's the Holt flavor. If you watched me change the oil on the Excursion the last time, I broke my rubber strap wrenches. So I picked this up, and my first time using it. Let's see how it goes. Oh, why is that tight? Okay. Yep, that is on way too tight. There it goes. But that is much easier than everything else I've used, I'll be honest. Good tool. Okay, let's loosen this. I don't know if when oil's going to start dripping out. Oh, there it comes. There comes the oil. So we're going to let that overflow on out. And there's bunches of more oil coming. All right, let's see if any more oil is going to come out of this filter before we take it down. Oh, yeah, there's some more. Okay, now I'm going to take this down, and I'm going to use two hands because I've had a lot of bad experiences with dropping these big, heavy filters. And they're heavy because they're so big and hold a lot of oil. So I'm going to do a two-handed approach here, and hopefully I don't drop it. And goodness. Well, I didn't drop it. That's a whole lot more oil that has decided to come out of there. Yep. Groovy. Okay. Can I just get enough off the gloves so I can take them off? Sure. And you can tell it's a hot day because my hands are absolutely soaked in sweat. Awesome. Okay. Well, that's finishing up. I'm going to go inside and prep the new filter to go in. Okay, before we put the filter in, I'm going to reach up in here and kind of clean off the surface of the, the place where the oil filter goes. Make sure the gasket came off, and you see it just came off right there. So that's why it's always important to check to make sure that old gasket comes off, because you can see right there it didn't come off. And sorry I bumped you, but as we try to put the new filter on, we would have a massive problem. I'll be honest, I think that's the first time that's ever happened to me where the filter didn't come off, or the gasket, sorry, with the filter. Okay, so we've prepped the new filter, and for reference, what's going in is this nice Wix filter. Yep, and we prepped it with, a thin bead of fresh oil on the gasket there. And it doesn't take a lot of oil, just a how you doing amount. And make sure you do it with the fresh oil. I know I've made jokes about doing it with dirt oil, but I don't do that. And I, of course, have written the miles and the date on the bottom of the filter, which is probably just going to come off now that I'm trying to put it on. And why won't you thread? This is the correct filter according to all the things, but it doesn't want to thread on, which is annoying. Also a little alarming. You have to do a dance. Is there a secret? What am I missing here, guys? Now that this new filter is covered in oil and slippery as you know what, that's fantastic. And now it's just sitting in the used oil. Great. It was going too easy, I suppose. But why in the world won't this filter go on? Let's compare it to the old one. Well, the hole looks the same size, but she ain't going on. And now it's completely soaked in oil, so it's great. There we go. Okay, you just have to find the correct angle, which is a bit ridiculous that it's a weird angle. And now that it's nice and slippery and covered in oil, I cannot get a grip on it. So now I'm going to have to get some degreaser and clean off the oil filter so I can put it on. Ah, great. Another trip out from under the truck. All right, so I'm just going to use some shop grade Windex, aka brake cleaner, and we'll clean it up a little bit and grab a towel out of the kitchen and go ahead and get this the rest of the way on. There we go. Hand tight. Let's clean it off. I don't think the wife will ever know that we stole a towel out of the kitchen. We hope. Hey, the miles and date stayed on there. That's nice. Let's clean off the rest of this while we're at it. That looks pretty good. Drain plug in, filter on. Yeah, I think we're done. Let's go ahead and wipe this filter down a little bit again. We want a nice, clean, shiny filter on here because that adds 7.5 horsepower. Okay, well, I think we're done down here. We're going to go ahead and go up top and put no oil in it. Okay. All right, so for motor oil, we're going to go with 10 weight 30 as per manufacturer specification, and we're doing the Shell Rotella T5 synthetic blend. That should be just fine. This takes 13 quarts, so that's 3 gallons and a bit. And we'll just start putting it in. These are, of course, 1 gallon jugs, and it's a bit of a reach. Now I am going to use a funnel as expected. You know, you could try to go ahead and have good aim and get it in the fill hole without a funnel, but that's kind of like the pull and pray method. It may work sometimes, but eventually some stuff's going to get some places you just didn't really want it to get into, is what I'm saying. There we go. That's 1 gallon. And here comes gallon number 2. Whoa, we almost missed. So when we put the filter on, you'll notice I did not fill it with oil. I know a lot of people like to do that. I do not like to do that. One, you saw what a hard time I had sticking it up in there and getting it threaded. Could you imagine if the thing was full? I'd have lost all that oil. But second, there's never been any proven real benefit to that I can find. And most mechanics and people that do maintenance on these things actually say not to do that mainly because by doing that you could introduce contaminants into the filter in the wrong side of the filter. I don't know how true that is. I think it's a personal preference thing, in my opinion. And well, in my opinion, I'm just not going to do that. Question, what do you all do? Do you fill the filter? Do you not fill it? Let me know. Be nice. Okay, here's our 3rd gallon going in. Now I've got another question for you. Why does diesel oil always come in 1 gallon jugs, which is 4 quarts, for all of you scholars out there, but yet conventional oil used in non-diesel cars always comes in 5 quart jugs? Somebody tell me the reasoning behind that. I'd be curious. Well, this gallon went quick. All right. And finally, it needs 13 quarts. We put 3 gallons in, which if you do the math, that's 12 quarts. We just need 1 more quart. And so I'm going to do my best to guess when I put a quart in. Mainly because I couldn't find anybody that sold this by the individual quart. Go figure. That look like a quart? I don't know, let's stop and see. Set this on here. Oh no, that was like a half a quart. Let's do it again. Okay, let's check it again. Nope. Almost. There we go. Put the cap on this so when we kick it over, it doesn't spill on the ground. And let's get a rag. Let's just get a rag and we'll check on the dipstick, see what it says. Okay, dipstick is, goodness, way up here. Okay. Let's clean it off. Nothing like a dipstick that's 10 miles long and all the way at the back of the engine where you can not reach it. All right, and that is reading just a smidge, and I mean just a how you doing amount above the full mark, which is to be expected because, well, there's no oil in the filter yet. And that should be just fine. Okay, let's get this out of here and get this put back on. Perfect. Okay, well now that the oil change is essentially done, let's see if we can reset, you know, the oil life meter thing in the truck. Okay, well I apologize now for the sound being different. GoPro decided to do GoPro things and decided to overheat itself, but we've manually reset the oil on it, the code reader that we had there, the Top Don. It didn't want to do it, but you don't really need it to do it on this truck here. You just go through the settings on the dashboard and it will do it. Let me show you the settings. Okay, here's the dashboard. We're going to turn it to on, but we're not going to start it. So in this case, we're just going to touch the stop start button and we're not going to start it. And yes, the driver's door is ajar. Yes, the hood's ajar. Yes, we know we have to push, but we're not doing that. Okay. We just go to advanced here, advanced settings, vehicle, oil life reset, and then hold to reset. Reset complete, and we're done. Let's put it all the way back here so we can, you know, display the glorious fuel economy we get. And let's just go ahead and start it. Vehicle is on. Yes, I'm aware. It's supposed to be on because I started it. Okay. Well, now you can see it's running. We have fresh oil in it. So now we're just going to kind of walk around the truck, look under it, make sure we don't have any leaks, and I'm sure it's just fine. So I'm not going to crawl up under there, but I'm going to shove you under there and you can have a look and just tell me what you see. Had to come back inside. The phone's already getting hot too. That's what you get for trying to film outside in 110-degree heat. Anyway, did you see any leaks? No? Good stuff. Okay, on to the next. Okay, so now as promised, we're going to go ahead and get at the air filter on the Super Duty F350 and change that. Sure. All right, so we're going to try this one-handed. You just have these little clips here. Unclip, unclip. There's a clip back here. Unclip that. There's probably, yep, there's one there. And just pick it up. And that comes out quite nice. And I'm not going to lie, this filter looks pretty good. Give it to me. This filter looks pretty good. Let's go inside and have a look because it's too hot. But yeah, this filter actually looks pretty good. There's a piece of cardboard there. I don't really know why that is. Ignore the garage in the background. It's quite dirty. Sorry about that. And there's your pre-filter, but we're going to go ahead and change it anyway. And if you were paying attention on the thumbnail, you'll have figured out what kind of filter we're putting on it. And it's going to be this K&N thing right here. So it's actually two parts. First, you have the main filter, part number E-0644. And this is the main filter, but also don't forget the foam pre-filter, and there's the part number for that. And this is for the Super Duty trucks as well. Let's go ahead and get these out of the package and put them on. Okay. Again, while I do this, ignore the condition of the shop here. It is a mess. Anyway. There's our filter. And here's an instruction. And it has things to read to do it. And then here's register it, okay. And some stickers. And then of course we have this thing which you can just see it slides in there. So we're going to go ahead and just put them in. So these K&N filters, they do come pre-oiled, which is nice, so you don't have to do that. They do make a maintenance kit that you should go ahead and get for them when it comes time to clean them out and put them back in. But for now, let's go ahead and put this filter in the truck. Okay, I'm assuming it's just the opposite of when we took it out, except can I do it one-handed? I don't know. Let's see. I'm going to say no or yes. How do I know if it's in the hole? Anyway, there's a couple of pegs in the bottom of the filter box to make sure you get it lined up properly. I'm not sure if it's sitting on there. It feels like it kind of is. Okay. This foam pre-filter goes in this back corner back here. This would be a lot easier if I could do it with two hands, but it's okay. And then get this back on here. It doesn't want to go on. Let me think on this for a minute. Okay, we switched back to the GoPro now because now the other camera, which is my iPhone, has decided to overheat. Modern electronics, damn near useless. Anyway, we finished putting the new air filter in, and we know this because we put the sticker on. So we know that we put the sticker on. That means we put the new filter and pre-filter in the truck there. So I went ahead and went with the K&N there, mainly because, well, you don't have to buy a new one anymore. That's just it. That's the last one, and you just keep cleaning it. Let me turn this way. There we go. Now I'm visible. You just keep cleaning it, and you don't have to buy new ones. And it's honestly not that much more than the factory air filter for this truck. It's an expensive air filter. So after we clean it once, we'll have saved money. Sure. Anyway, thank you all for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you learn several ways not to do things and maybe one or two ways maybe to do something. If not, and you just enjoyed it, that's fine too. If y'all wouldn't mind, go ahead and do the subscribe, like, share, comment thing. It really does mean a lot to me. And I appreciate every one of you that's been watching and subscribing, making comments, hitting the like button. It's always a nice thing to see. I guess that'll do it. In the meantime, we'll see you later. Bye-bye now. I think it's time for a cold shower. It is hotter than a hound dog in a hubcap factory. Ooh.